So, Donna, can you bring Erika and Agustina to the stage, please?
Hola. Hola, hola.
Hello, girls. Just for the very first part of this talk, we will welcome you in English, and then we will switch to Spanish. So welcome you. Thank you for being here. And
thank you. And it's a pleasure to stay here with Donna and you and Agustina.
Perfect. So I hope everything is okay in the session where the interpreter is now going to start speaking in English. So
okay, we'll switch to Spanish then. Welcome, it's great to have you here. Before anything, I wanted to thank you and Veritran, which is one of our sponsors for this third edition of this event. So thank you so much, not just for being here with this presentation, but also for sponsoring this event. Thank you so much. And you have the floor now. Thank you, Steph. Okay, then we're going to share our presentation. I'm having trouble sharing my screen. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can do it now. Let's see. Sometimes technology doesn't help. Eri, do you want to try? I'm going to try. Just 2 seconds. I'm going to try. Almost there. I wasn't ready, but let me see. Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to load the file from my computer. Okay, it's loading and we're wasting some minutes, but oh, there it is. I see it's loading. I don't know. Oh, there it is. That's great. Yes, yes. Is it me? Yes, it's you. Okay, then let's begin. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We apologize for these technical issues, but really, thank you so much because there are so many interesting talks going on. First of all, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Agustina. I am a graphic designer from the University of Buenos Aires in Argentina. I don't think we said that before. A couple of years ago, I started specializing in UX, and today I am a product manager at Veritran. And Eri? Thanks, Agus. I also live in Argentina. I have lived here for some years now. I am from Peru, and I am currently working at Veritran as a UX manager for the UX team. So, the title of our talk is How to Turn UX Practice into a Reality in an Organization by Using the Ideas of Design. So, to start our discussion, we were thinking that organizations in the past few years have found the value provided by UX to their services or products. I think the digital transformation, in particular the past few years with the pandemic, had made this evident, but still there are some doubts about how to build that team, that UX area, and escalate it. Okay. So there's a lot of information about the US practice, at least in Argentina. There are new digital schools. The subjects are included within the courses of studies, to the curricula to study UX. So the expectations are quite similar to what you're seeing in this picture, because everything looks very orderly in the way we imagine it, but then we run into a reality that, well, looks more like this image, which is more chaotic. And this happens because we deal with different contexts and scenarios and organizations that, well, it's very natural because they have different cultures, they were created in different ways. So we run into different levels of complexity, and we need to adjust to those contexts. So what happened at Veritran? That's what we want to share with you today. What happened in our organization? To give you some background, Veritran is a global IT company that develops digital solutions, in particular for the financial industry, through a low-code platform. If you've never heard of that term, low-code, it has to do with the fact that in order to build this digital solution and everything it requires, front-end, back-end, how to adjust the service, this is done in a much more simple way, in a collaborative manner through this low-code platform, without needing to have a more traditional developer or that kind of role. So let's have a bit of history. In 2018, Veritran started to add UX profiles to its staff in order to set best practices and improve experiences in this platform. So what were the rationales back then? What did Veritran think of in 2018? First of all, the awareness of the digital transformation. We're talking about an IT company that said, okay, at this point, it is super necessary to be up to the task and improve the experience in our platform. And Veritran has been working for over 16 years. So if in 2018, these profiles, these UX profiles started to join, there were many, many years during which the user experience on that platform had many opportunities for improvement. So we needed to be up to the standards of the market. And back then, and now even more, we would take part in super important events in the IT industry and the financial industry. And we saw that event coming, and we knew we needed to be ready and look great for that moment of exposition. So we started to see great results. We saw growth, great feedback from our users. We saw that at those events we had great feedback, we looked great, so we started to bet, to try to go for more. And this meant exponential growth, not only at a business level, because our platform exploded and we added a lot of new functionalities, but also more people started working for those functionalities and were part of the growth of the platform. So, what were we up against after all of that growth? Well, first of all, a dedicated structure, because we needed to mold that structure, because it is one thing when you're 40 people and another different thing when you're over 200. So it was necessary to build a more traditional structure for this industry with tribes and squads, specializing in specific parts of the platform. We saw that our product was quite complex to understand, because it is one thing to enter a job and work on a product that you know because it's the app you use to order food every day, or the app through which you watch TV. We're talking about a low-code platform. So it was new for me, at least back then, and we were talking about a digital product that was quite different from what we were used to. The business model was complex as well, because at the product sector, we work for a low-code platform that will be used by our users to build apps that will be launched and will be used by end users. That's the B2B2C model, which has more layers, and that makes it a bit more complex. Then the onboarding part. Again, it is one thing to have some people coming into the company, to a small company, than having 10 people or 15 new people a week and having to explain all these complexities I've been mentioning. So it was necessary to shape a more solid onboarding process. Another thing we were dealing with was data. Back then, we weren't integrated to tools that could provide information that would drive initiatives. On our courses, you learn the methodology, you know you can use all that information, that's super useful. But back then, even though we did have some data, it wasn't a data-driven product. And also the diversity of the technological stack. This is something that I believe you will know what I'm talking about, because it happens, but a platform that's been going on for many years and that grew in different ways, in different points, well, we had our differences in trying to refactorize those technologies. So if I had to summarize all these items that we identified, the only word I can think of is chaos. Right now, we can laugh at that chaos. It's okay. We can even be more dramatic when we talk about it. But the truth is that while you are facing that chaos, it's challenging. But now, yeah, it was quite a chaotic situation. Even we had some casualties, I must say, when dealing with that chaos. So I would like to send them my regards. But we would we know that in our industry we lose a lot of people, and because of these challenges, some people managed to adapt to that context and some didn't. So there was something that was super necessary for us, so as to identify all these problems, was taking some time and rethinking that strategy, seeing how we could redesign the way we worked, the way we dealt with people who are part of the product, to improve the UX team. So now, Eri, you can go on to present the most hopeful part of our talk. Thanks, Agus. Well, during that experience, I met the people in the team, the organization, and with a more strategic perspective, we defined that we needed to apply some design methodologies, and we used design ops as a sort of umbrella, not only to improve our UX practice, but also we decided to incorporate methodologies of design in order to partner with people and to maximize the quality and the consistency of the product we create. So we took these 3 pillars: how we work together, how we do our job, that has to do with our daily lives, and then we wanted to focus or show the company that we wanted to add value, because it's not just about pretty screens. So methodology aside, we needed to commit to those 3 pillars, trying to have a more specific vision in terms of how we were going to be there for the people in our team, thinking that this dedicated structure and this doing more for squad meant that we were too focused on silos. So we defined certain instances where we could have a cross structure that would allow us to have a point-to-point perspective with more leading profiles that would help us strengthen these needs in the platform with the different teams, considering that our product is highly technical. Now, in terms of the complexity of our product, we made some adjustments in the way we were hiring people to join our team. We tried to look for profiles with an experience with B2B2C, people who didn't need to have different tools or sets of things that come from B2C and line up with this perspective of, well, what do they need when making a decision, when they are working with a high amount of information and they need to focus on specific things. And thinking of hiring, we knew that we needed to redesign our onboarding process to make it slower so that we could be there for the people during the first 45 days. In particular, of course, we would always be there, but especially during those 45 days, and generate community spaces so that people could have constant and assertive communication. And because we wanted this to help us have a point-to-point vision of what we were doing in order to use the abilities of others in our team to solve our specific doubts. And this makes teams work as actual teams, not groups of individuals, people who use the abilities and the skills of their colleagues. There was something else that we needed to do, which was having a more point-to-point vision of our product. And we defined that because of the complexity of the technological moment and because of our business model, which was quite particular, the UX team needed to have a more strategic perspective, focusing on integration between ourselves and the teams, but also connecting with the areas and the processes in a methodological manner, so that the information that we as UX designers could have, we could give that to other people with different backgrounds, so that together we could build a product that was more solid, a much more solid platform. Another thing we focused on was being able, through this diversity of the technological staff, even though it is something that happens in the industry, we needed to use this as a bridge that would allow us to have a more homogeneous experience in the platform. so as to create a consistent experience that would allow everyone in our team to have a holistic vision of everything we have apart from the particular job we all have. And in some teams, we started using the usage data to use this as a stronghold, something that would use us to improve the platform from a more data-driven perspective so that we could make decisions based on that data. And the more data we had, the more adjustments could be made into the product. A more long-term perspective, right? Another thing we needed to focus on was not just saying, well, this is what I do every day, this is my tribe, this is my platform, my squad, and thinking in more holistical terms in our organizations, in Veritram. So we focused on two aspects. Considering that our business model and the technological industry needed this particular focus, using different tools, going to strategic design, we started to generate different bridges with different areas, and that allows us to establish dialogue where we can become more agile, we can boost culture for innovation, having a strategic and systemic design-oriented perspective so that we can make all areas see and find value in what we do on our day-to-day activities. And again, we wanted to communicate so that every stakeholder in our company would know that apart from designing interaction and understanding casuistics and the complexities of our product, we can also add different kinds of perspectives to have more assertive communication, facilitating spaces where people can share their points of view, and that the culture of design, which means learning and improving, can be applied to our daily lives, our daily work. So apart from everything we've been doing, we wanted to tell you that we believe that Veritram is a unique place. And, well, we believe that of all organizations. Each organization has its own culture, and that's culture gives us a lot of opportunities. And beyond Veritram, because that's where we are at, and we are part of this team, and it is what we're focusing on right now, we wanted to let you know about a couple of messages that might help you have some tools to face your day-to-day work based on what we have learned. We need to focus on the internal culture of the organization, having a more horizontal perspective, focusing on collaborative work, because we cannot do it all. We need to delegate, we need to trust others, we need to be aware of the UX maturity on that organization, because that will allow us to make more assertive organizations and feel stronger with a more aware perspective. And if you are a leader in your organization, we do have some experiences or tips we would like to share, because sometimes when we are leaders, we believe that we are the only ones going through something in particular. And the reality is that if we start talking to others, we'll see that many people are facing that situation. And it's great to share experiences, because that can be our UX community in Argentina, and this wonderful space that we are having in these 24 hours that is opening our minds and allowed us to see new perspectives, because by listening to others, we can grow and get new information that we can try in the places we work in. It is also important to adjust our expectations and line up our expectations to take our organization as a space where we can learn and really grow and develop ourselves. And if we are aware of the maturity of our organization, that will mean a challenge for us and will help us generate and something and grow to the next level we want to go to. And again, the iteration perspective that allows us to set targets that are that can be achieved, because we cannot change the world overnight, because we know that's very unlikely and will be very discouraging. These are some of the things we learned, and we thought it would be interesting to share that. And finally, if you are part of a team, if you're just joining a new team, we wanted to share this. It isn't necessary for you to be a leader, to have a leading role in order to lead your path and for you to decide where to go. We need to have that mindset of trying to discover new information, because that allows you to develop your career and decide where to go and what skills you need to strengthen. And it's important to have a self-criticism, because that allows you to have your own terms and conditions to define your future and the path you want to follow. You need to stay active. You need to explore. That's very important for you to develop your profile. Thank you so much for having listened to us for this space. We are very, very happy to be here. Thank you.